We are Brightside Theater.
Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
There we go. We're here. Late as usual. Sorry. This one has nothing to do with me. Well, it did have to do with me, but not my schedule, not my usual schedule issues, but yeah.
Mainly to do with me asking too many questions about the insurance shenanigans.
No. That's we deserve our little bit of we deserve our little bit of time there. So, but yeah, we're good, and everybody in the chat's been really cool about it too. So thank you everybody for sticking around. I'm doing my best to get here earlier and earlier. It's just not.
They don't need us at all. They have their whole little thing going in the chat.
I know. There. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
It's like I kind of want to be there.
Yeah. You should just open this window for the chat and leave it open 24/7.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Our little green room.
Yeah, that's Van Gool. DJ, we always have good conversations. Yeah, exactly. It's great. Everything going on there. And it's like, speaking of which, Van Gool was in the chat at Brett's thing. Van Gool was in there. We had Eddie and Van Gool had a conversation going, and they were needling each other back and forth. And this is in Brett's, the one I did with Brett last week and all the guys about seeing it. And Mikey was there in the room, actually. Mikey was on the stream, and Mikey Schramm. And I'm reading the chat. It was so much fun to sit in on because I didn't have to run anything, right? Like, like everything we just went through before we got on here. And I'm like, okay, this works. I didn't have to do anything. So I actually got to participate in the chat there while other people were talking. There were like 7 of us and other people talking. I'm like, okay, I can hear them, but I can type and I can talk and read. And Van Gool and Eddie are like, Eddie said something like, it's all about it. He said something in response to us, saying like, yeah, it's all about the experiences. And Van Gool wrote back like, come on, Eddie, finish it. Sight, sound, scenes. And I was like, I love you guys. That was awesome. Oh, so fun.
Oh, yeah, good stuff. Well, guys, just bear with me this week, if you would. I've got another cold. I'm going to try and talk a little more softly because I've discovered if I talk at my normal sort of volume, it aggravates my throat and I start to cough. And I was teaching earlier today, and for the first time in the 14 years that I've done teaching, I had to stop a session mid-session and leave the room because I was coughing so much. I thought I was going to actually be sick. So I had to actually stop the session. I've never done that before.
Oh, wow.
And when I came back in, just talking a little more softly seems to have done the trick, and it wasn't so bad. So just bear with me, guys. If I mute myself, you'll know why. I've got the tissues, not for that, John. And I've got the water. I'm not expecting to get that excited.
Down to watch any movie, I got to bring a box of tissues and be like,
some movies more than others.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Come on, John. It's early.
Thought we were going there.
We go there. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm always there. I just wait for you guys to pop in.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Mikey and his family are just on the starters. Come on, you've got to let them get to the dessert before we can go there.
Hashtag bright side of that. And the best on that is people. I think a lot of people right now are like, what do we miss? What did we miss? Because we were all talking over each other, but I heard it because I was expecting it.
Wow. Why not?
Oh,
yeah.
John.
So bear with me, guys. Anyway, bear with
Remember
me.
back at camp?
Was this band camp?
One time.
Save Camp Chat.
Save Camp Chatham.
Chatham. Like, what the hell is that? Oh, man. Oh, people are like, what the hell are they talking about? You have no idea. Donut holes bouncing off the pavement. Yeah, let me John, you'll know that I didn't even get a chance to tell you before we got in here. I did say in the chat, I am late because I had to go to a wake. Mother of, you remember PJ Lampasona?
Yeah, he's a cousin.
He's your cousin?
Mhm.
I forgot that. I think we've talked about that. I know we've talked about that. What happened? His mother died.
Oh,
Mother passed away last week.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, so her wake is today. Was today 3 to 7. So I got there at 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I had no idea. We're not
yeah.
close.
Yeah, clearly.
He is a cousin.
Yeah. Well,
Gently, Deej.
What's that?
Way to break it to him gently. Deej.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
By the way, your aunt, your
Yeah,
great aunt, or whatever she would be.
That is only the second time in my life that's happened to me.
Yeah.
So you remember Becky Bardall?
Yeah.
Okay. So I go to school one morning and I worked with her Aunt Jean and her Jean Wiley. Jean Wiley, I think her name was. She was an older woman, worked at Marshall's with me. Really, knew her really, really beautiful, great woman. I mean, great. Like, oh my God, she was hysterical, so sarcastic. She was an awesome woman. And every time I saw her, she's always laughing, making me laugh and everything. And one morning I'm leaving for school and I got halfway across the circle. John, you know where I lived in a cul-de-sac. And I'm like, and my mom calls me back in and I knew exactly what it was. I was like, oh crap. So I come back in and she told me that, Jean had passed away. And I go to school and somebody was like, we were in the art room and Becky was in that. She was sitting like right next to me. And somebody's like, Deej, what's up? Might have been you for all I know. And I'm like, oh, a woman I work with.
I wouldn't have asked.
Yeah, exactly. Deej, why are you acting like me? No, so I'm sitting there and I was like, oh, a woman I work with that I'm like, she passed away last night. And I was just, and they're like, oh, who? And I was like, oh, Jean. And Becky's sitting right next to me, burst into tears. She goes, that's my aunt. I was like, oh, crap. I didn't know. So that's number 2, John. Thank you.
So you're a serial notifier is what you are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Welcome to Brightside. Hello. Yeah. No, I wasn't expecting that. But no, the cool thing about, and you know this, John, like the Lampasonas, they're like our mirror family. Like my family is really close to their family. Right. My parents are really close to their parents, and we're like mirror families. And I love telling this story. Unfortunately, I'm telling it now because, Mrs. Lampasona passed away. But literally, how does this happen, right? Listen to this coincidences. I'm a David J. Briggs Jr. My sister's Dawn. My brother's Mikey. And then you have Danny, my younger sister. We're all 2 years apart, except for Danny's 4 years after Mikey. Go to the Lampasona family. PJ, there you go. PJ is the DJ and vice versa. He's my age. Pam's my sister's age. Paula was my brother's age. Paula passed away like 10 years ago. Is my brother's age. And Maria is my younger sister's age. So they're all 2 years apart, except for the last one's 4 years apart. Right. We're all D's and 1M. They're all P's and 1M. And they're like, how the heck does all that line up? Right. And you're like, it was just, and we're all friends. Like my mother and their parents, they've been friends since we were little kids. Like we didn't even know each other. Right. And it was just like, but they're like our mirror family. And then going through the line today, and it was like introducing to like Pam's husband, like, who is this? I'm DJ. And they're like, how do we know? I'm like, I'm the DJ to your PJ. It's like, Dawn will be here later, who is the Pam of the, right. It's like, oh, I got it. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, they were, Mr. Lampasona saw him. He's like, are you the one in the band? I'm like, nope, that's Mikey. So, but yeah. And then Jen walking into this, Jen's 4'9", 4'10", and we're walking in the door, and she's always at these things. You go first. You know them. Okay. And Tony also. What's he? A second cousin to you? Yeah. Tony. Yeah. So he's right there with his boys, and she's like, "You go first. I'm like, it doesn't do any good for me to go first because you're 4'10", you're behind me. You could stand in front of me and I'm still going first because they see me, right? But anyways, so we get there and I see Tony. I'm like, hey, Tony, grew up with Tony. I'm like, how you doing? This is his aunt that passed away. And I'm like, sorry, feel lost, blah, blah, blah. And then Jen's like, oh, I'm sorry. Tony's like, hey. And now Jen steps in front of me the rest of the way. because she knows every freaking kid in this town,
Right.
whether they've grown up. And now she's like, and then Tony and I stand there cracking up. She's the and Tony said it. She goes, she's the rock star. Here
Right.
she goes. Because all of her, once Tony's boys got to high school, they were like, oh, we know Mrs. Briggs. And he's like, Mrs. Briggs. And Tony didn't know Jen until, and then all of a sudden it's like, DJ, that's your wife? I'm like, yeah. Now it's like, hey, everybody, I'm Jen's husband.
Yeah.
The guy in the back here. She goes right through the line, knows everybody in the town, knows everybody. Like, hey, who's that person? I'm like, who's that? Yeah. So, but yeah. Sorry
So,
Mrs. Lampasona.
Not only do you break news to people about people that have deceased and passed in an inappropriately nonchalant way, you're also cracking up at a wake.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Irish.
I was to say,
Major still standing.
Oh
You
my
should be
God.
hammered somewhere, shouldn't you then?
No,
Lampasonas aren't Irish, though.
What's that?
Oh, okay.
Lampasonas aren't Irish, though.
No.
Oh, okay.
And
And
that's
that's not an Irish surname, is it?
But
No.
they're almost the same.
yeah, it's
Italians
pretty
are
much the same. Yeah, and that's grown. Yeah, we got there right at 3. Well, we got there a little early, and then it was at Altieri's, and we were parked at the Rome. John knows what this means.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Everybody else is like,
this is just me and you talking.
Yeah.
Nobody else has any idea what's going on.
But so for context, people in the audio only are like, is there a map on the screen we're not seeing?
Right.
Back on the Mayflower, you had the following
Right.
families.
Yeah. So Jen's like, we were there like 15 minutes early, and she goes, you want to go now? I'm like, no, I don't want to be there and have nobody be in line. But we couldn't see the front door of O'Teary's from there. And I was like, we'll go right at 3:00. We go around the corner at 3:00 and we look and like, there's already a line down the street.
Yeah,
Because it's the Lampasona.
Yeah.
It's an Italian passed away in Franklin.
Yeah,
And it's like, everybody shows up because they're
all the
town's
remaining
so close.
Italians were there.
Yeah, especially all the remaining. The hockey team showed up because, when we were leaving, the hockey team showed up. So it's, pretty big. Families like that have been in the town that long.
Yeah, they've been around forever.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Oh, man.
all right.
Alrighty. Should we say hi to everyone in the chat who's here?
Sure.
Because there's a few questions that have been asked of us, and we've been, and I want to make sure I answer a couple. Yeah. There's a couple of things been said. So Rach was in first, quite a bit earlier on. So I think she might still be in via X.
How did she get before me?
I don't know because you set it up and then immediately commented, didn't you?
Yeah, but she's
So
at
did you set it up on Twitter
7:07.
first?
She's at 7:07 p.m. her so it must be using her time or something because I'm at 11:21 a.m. on my thing. It says 7:07 p.m. for her, and I'm like, I don't know. There was nobody there. I was like, that's interesting how she cut the line.
The time
I
is all
gotta
messed
give her
up.
props for that.
Yeah. Well, the time's a bit messed up because your one saying first in on mine it says 0421.
Yeah.
Now that we're not that far back, so yeah, that's a bit.
Yeah, you
odd.
are. That's 5 hours.
Yeah, but it says 0421. That's 4:21 in the morning.
Right.
So we're not that far.
Wow.
Back. We're forward.
Yeah.
We're in front, so it's all kind of messed up anyway. But anyway,
it had the 4 right. It just had the wrong. Yeah.
wrong time of day. Okay,
Yep.
so anyway, so someone called Brightside Home Theatre dropped in. Vibe Home Media is in.
And
Hi
that was
guys.
late.
Yeah, Captain 83 is in. TSG Spartan, again, local boy, is in.
Nice.
Steve At's in. Van Gool is in. And Van Gool asked if I'm into the Terrifier movies. Van Gool, stay tuned.
Hey.
Yeah, Mikey's in. Again, we don't know how he's getting on with the family. Hopefully not worrying about our tissue conversation. Paul Hurt's
You
in.
gotta
Hi,
pray,
Paul.
yeah. That's it,
Yeah.
Steve. Highlight it.
Yeah. It's a callback.
John, can we pull a graphic up on that
Yeah.
too? Why don't we
Hang
do
on,
that?
I'll-
Throw
yeah,
that- yeah, there we go. We got
Let me
it.
just open my other window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me just share the other tab that I'm watching through this show.
So,
Leave it to Steve. We'd like to keep this
John's in.
discreet, then he announces the discreet thing.
sorry, I can only apologize. Marcus Peeps in. I
Love you.
Marcus. Yeah. Speakerhead is in as well. Someone called Speakerhead. Now, I don't know if that's someone that we know who has
Speakerhead or
changed. Yeah, Speakerhead. Yeah. It is here. So Speakerhead says,
Speakerhead.
at
That's
Steve
cool,
George.
man.
So perhaps it is someone new because normally they just say Steve. So Wind River is out on 4K Blu-ray with an Atmos soundtrack. Yes, I had heard that and I've seen it. Someone in my Twitter orbit had said that it's really good. It's on my birthday list for obviously it's my birthday in November, so that's one of the discs on my birthday list. I can't wait to see that in 4K. That's the Jeremy Renner film that we the Blu-ray of.
We watched it and I remember loving it in both picture and sound, and I have it in HD in DTS Master Audio on
so the Atmos track could be very nice. So so I'm aware of it.
I
and
don't
that's
see
on
that
the list.
on Amazon. That's weird.
It's
I've
in
got
the
a funny
UK,
feeling
that's
it might.
why.
No. It's a US disc, guys.
Is
it's out in the US. Yeah, it's not out here in the UK.
So
it's one of the imported ones. I think it might be an exclusive, or it's
by
one of those
who?
that
is it out by anybody in particular?
I don't know. Is it a Lionsgate? Did Lionsgate do it, or is it? I'll tell you what. Man
did
looks up something on computer.
I just checked the updates on Kaleidoscape, and it doesn't have an update for it.
I did like that movie quite a bit.
That's great.
Oh my god, it was a great movie.
Yeah, Wind River 4K, Walmart exclusive. There you go.
Walmart exclusive.
Walmart exclusive. It's on Blu-ray.com. So actually, I might not be able to import it then. Actually,
well, I mean, I can buy it and send it to you.
You know a couple of people over here.
I do want. Who's that?
I don't know.
I mean, the only good news about the Hurricanes, guys, is that all you'll have to do, the postage will be cheap. You buy
throw
it
in the
air.
Yeah.
It'll be here within about 5 minutes. That's better than USPS. I'll just have to go hunting for it.
Well, to be fair, the T-shirt that Danny Speakers I had sent over to you, I think is still in the bottle on its way. I don't know. That thing never made it.
Yeah, no,
I had to make one on T Public and send it to you that way.
Directly. Yeah.
There it is. It's a steelbook. Steelbook on Walmart. Yeah, $35.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So it's
hopefully we get it.
It's quite expensive. Yeah. Well, maybe there'll be a non-steelbook version.
Yeah,
I don't get a steelbook with Kaleidoscape.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of do. It's the box.
But you're still going to pay $35.
Yeah, exactly that. And then someone
I don't
else
need a paper sleeve.
Cardboard. Really important.
He's so particular about his words.
Oh hell yeah! Well,
that's a lawyer for you.
In fairness, guys, this week a certain someone assembled here profited from said removal of disc into cardboard sleeve because I was doing this on Sunday afternoon and I realized Horizon came with a digital copy, which I was able to then send to John, which I'd forgot. I didn't realize it came with a digital copy. So it did. I sent that to John. So, happy days.
Nice.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me see.
Useful benefit from putting them into a cardboard sleeve.
Because I will. Because honestly, I was going to wait until they announced whether they were going to make parts 2, 3, and 4 before I watched it. But
well, they've done 2.
They now have it.
2 is out. 2 has been out. I think it's been and gone. I think 3 and 4 are the ones where they're not sure whether they're going to get the money for it. Anyway, so I was saying hi to everyone. Sorry. So Jordan's in. Hi, Jordan. Joe Klusnick's in. Hi, Joe.
Nice. Joe back for a second week.
Yeah, man.
Last week was his first week. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
We've got Brockstar in. Good old Brockstar's asking for some advice in terms of subwoofer placement, I think.
No, we've
advice.
given him plenty of advice. He doesn't need any more.
Well, it all came through the chat, and the chat answered his question.
Yeah, they came for him.
Damn it!
And
we should have told them to stop talking to John.
Yeah,
to Steve.
To Steve. Bill McAllister's in. Hi, Bill. Hey, Fred. We've got Fred's in. Now
people
John knows
just
where that's
tuning in
from.
are like, they're not very friendly.
No, we're not. But
well, this is where we get to make up for it because we have a new guy in the chat who says, "Hey guys, watch all the time. First time commenting. C big.
Nice.
Say that right. Don't say the big C because that'll bring it all down again. Right. So C big is
high C.
Yeah,
I see.
I see.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
So C big is in. Hi, C big. Good to see you. Apologies for the Mickey taking. And everyone else is in and here assembled. So there we go.
Nice. All right.
That one out. Right. So there we go.
Oh, that was the other day. I'm looking for something.
Sorry, forgive me.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, here we go.
Oh, while you're doing that, Elaine Smith is dropped in as well.
Nice.
Elaine, good to see you.
Elaine Smith. Nice.
Yeah, I think he's been
Hello,
in before,
Lane.
but yeah, there we go. There we go.
Oh, cool. So also I got an email from Chris for a Kaleidoscape referral. So we have another referral from Brightside Home Theater. Yeah, so he emailed me, or she, could be actually Chris, K-R-I-S, because I had a girlfriend in high school named Chris with K-R-I-S. So anyways, anyways, listener wanted reaching out about Kaleidoscape referral program. So
DJ,
pretty cool. Thank you very much.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah. Hey, no, I'm not going there. No, I'm not going there. No, sorry, some things occurred. I'm not going there. No.
And my girlfriend before that, her name was Carrie, and the girlfriend before that was.
I always thought you were talking nicknames.
She was in Canada though, so
no, that was a second cousin, and then John, what was the one we shared? Unbeknowingly, to her. Never mind.
Oh man. Hashtag me too. Right.
Yeah. I know.
They're coming for you guys. You'll have a knock at the door.
Yeah, we're gonna be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, Chris. Take your moment.
Yeah, there's your $100 gone.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I sent him the link, and he said they told him to put the code in once they get the unit later this week. I'll let you know what happens. So I just reading that now. Just noticed he emailed me back today. So great. Hope it works out. He gets $100, and the show gets $100 to put towards the movies that I watch. That's what I call it.
Yes.
I'd love to send you a digital code, John.
Yeah.
Man.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for reaching out. Appreciate it.
That's cool. Very cool. And how's everyone's week's been? All okay?
Oh yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Keeping busy. Yep. Things moving along slowly with the house, but it's moving.
Alrighty, and I mean, I suspect we should say, or I think we should say earlier in, we were joking earlier about the hurricanes, but we do have a number of listeners down in Florida and all the rest of it, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's so obviously anyone that's down there, hopefully you're not down there now, but just quick, stay safe, everyone, and obviously listen to what you're being told, and if you are still there, why, and get going, because
Well, yeah, I was just talking to my dad about that, and I don't hit. His sister, my aunt, won't leave, and everybody around him's leaving, and I'm like, he's like, why? What are you doing? And I don't think there's an explanation. He doesn't understand it, but they're like, nah. No, wait, my aunt and my uncle were like, no, we're just gonna stay. I'm like, I don't know. Older, stubborn,
it's an experience.
I don't know. It's an experience, but. So it was a roller coaster, but you don't go on it when it's closed.
Yeah.
I evacuated for one, and I rode one out. So I mean, I can't say what I would do, because I did stay for one myself. But do
you get them in Texas? Do you get hurricanes?
Yeah, we've had.
I know you get tornadoes and stuff.
Yeah, we had one hit while we were in Italy. Knocked my whole back fence down. I came home and my fence was gone.
Well, you had that one. What was the one that pretty much flooded your town?
That was a flood, though. That was Harvey. That was floods. That wasn't a hurricane. But we had a hurricane in, let's see, when my son was 16, so 2008. We had a pretty good hurricane. Pretty good, pretty bad hurricane. That's the one we actually stayed for. So it's hard to say, but
you're right on the Gulf. I mean, Houston's right there on the Gulf, you're not on the coast, right? You're like a little inland, but not much. There's not a little inland to slow it down.
Yeah, no, honestly, from Galveston, we're 30 minutes or less. So we're not that far. Since I've been here, we've had 4 or 5 decent sized hurricanes. So we do get them. Not like Louisiana and Florida, obviously, but but we do.
But if you've got the president saying this is a danger to life, it's a once in a generation storm,
and then you go
on the back of another one that was only 2 weeks ago,
right?
I mean, let's hope everyone that can is well away from there. Right. The last time we had a proper hurricane in the UK was in 1987, and that was a freak occurrence where famously the most well-known weatherman here was a guy called Michael Fish at the time, and he famously did a bulletin saying, they're saying there's going to be really strong winds. It's not going to be that bad. You don't need to worry about it. All's fine. And then the hurricane hit overnight. He was kind of had that around his neck for a long time after that.
Oh yeah.
So we luckily, touch wood, they're ultra rare in the UK. But yeah, it's no joke. From what I've seen, the footage in that just looks horrendous. So yeah, stay safe, everyone. Anyway, if you're down there, hopefully you're all good.
Tom AV Rant's been down there for all of these things.
Yeah, well, Omar as well, of course. We know Omar as well. Who
Omar too,
down there. Yeah, so again, stay safe, everyone. Let me know.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, but there we go. So yeah.
All right.
Anyway, bright side, onwards and upwards.
Hashtag bright side. I see. I got my email open. I got Joe Kluznik, who's in the chat as well. Email me about the 24-hour show, so we might as well get that kicking. I've been messing around with scheduling and working on getting all my stuff ready to start contacting people. How we're going to do it, what we're going to do. But yes, the 24-hour show, as I think we all talked about it at the end of last week's show, right? After we were done. So let me see. Yeah, this year's show is going to be on the 24-hour show. It will be on the November 2nd. We'll start at 6 a.m. and then on, let me see. I don't know why it's not showing me this, but because we talked about, you and I, Steve, talked about it after. Oh, we all did actually. Where did my calendar go? But yeah, so we're doing it tradition, which this is the first year of the tradition. Since last year was the first year, this is making it a tradition. Yep. Yeah, John, rabbit hole. Daylight savings time.
He's a stickler for the rules.
Yeah, exactly. Daylight savings time ends on the 3rd at 2 a.m. So that's when we're doing it. Our 25 hours of home theater. And so from the 2nd to the 3rd, 6 a.m. on Saturday to 6 a.m. on Sunday, and all 25 hours in the middle. And John will pop in to remind me to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'll be there at the end to remind you to go to bed.
But this year we also know that we are, like last year going into it, we didn't know what we were doing for raising money and stuff. But this year we are raising money for Movember. All money raised through this podcast will be going right to Ryan Davies' Movember cause, because he's been doing it for 15 years. So yeah, I'm happy to help and piggyback and give him all the recognition. And like I said last year, it was like when we went into the show, this is, Todd Anderson of AV Nirvana. This is his brainchild, his idea, daring me if I could do it. And then we really did want to do something and raise money, use it as a telethon or something, or some way to raise money for something. And we kind of but our schedules didn't allow us to get to a point where we did have a really good idea on what we could focus on, but neither of us had the time to put into it. And then we were just like, let's just do it and see what happens, right? So that's what we did. And of course I invited, Rich and Ryan onto the show, or Keith and Davey, as you know, if you listen to the show, #dork. And then talking to Davey and I've been supporting his Movember for years anyways. And then just everything, all like how he started it. And, majority of this, community is male anyways. Appreciate all the females that are joining us, but so listening to Ryan talk and stuff, I'm like, it just seemed like a perfect fit. Like, let's do this to kick the month off for him, because that's when it'll land. And then, we can do the whole Movember thing all month long. And then, I think it's a great cause, and, and Ryan's been doing a great job. And I think I would love to be able to like double the money that they raise or whatever it is, or even more, if we can get some companies involved and stuff.
So, and how will people do that, Deej? Will that be a box of popcorn during the show? Will that be
probably
donations to a central kind of, straight to Movember, or,
yep,
or a mixture of all of it?
Yep. Anything that you give now, if you get, obviously patrons, like all of our patron money for November will go to them. So any patrons, all 100% will go to that. Any money from here on out, because last year we did something every month. This year I've just been straight. I'm barely getting to the shows on time, and not even barely, I'm not. So this year it's like any money's given to us from here to the end of November goes 100% to Movember. You can buy boxes of popcorn at our website. I'm trying to get YouTube back up. As you know, people in the chat right now, you can't buy us anything right now. I keep jumping through all the hoops they tell me to jump through to legitimize myself. Like I have it. There's money even sitting there from last year. I just can't get it because they're like, oh, we need this bank account. We need this. And I'm like, I just don't have the time to chase it. But now I got to make the time because I think we did raise a lot of money through that last year. We made like $300-400 just in the show. And that was our first time doing it. So I'm hoping to be able to do more
this time.
Yeah.
And I think with Joe suggesting this, I think probably a sponsor, Budweiser, Jameson.
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
Guys.
I don't know if it's a good idea to share anything with Brett. I'm like, he did it all by himself, and that's how he ended up. We don't need people coaxing him along.
Yeah, good luck with that, Joe. Yeah, he I think he's holding on to that bottle. It's the only thing stopping you from falling off the couch, and even that doesn't always work.
We're getting Brett a seatbelt for this year.
Or one of those hats with the straws that come down.
There you go.
Much safer.
But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of I'm trying to line up a lot of the same people. And just like last year, there was a plan, and I plan to do this kind of the same thing, but now it's going to be a little looser too, because getting 9 people in a room and everybody hanging out and whatever it is, and we'll pop people in and out and stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it, and raising some money for Movember and stuff like that, and the hashtag Dork guys. So, but yeah. So yeah, check out that podcast. Listen to those guys, especially leading up to it, because they're going to be a part of the show as well. So, all right, that's hashtag Dork podcast.
The things we have to do to get our Dorky Award.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We're the reigning hashtag Dork podcast. That's like winner. Like that's podcast of the year. Come on. So and not only that, we're the only other podcast to ever win it other than hashtag Dork. That's quite the honor right there.
And I want to be able to change my Twitter bio to multi-award winning show.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to really got to support them for that. And it's like, hey, I'm not above buying through charity. I'll buy awards through charity all day long.
When's the Purple Heart coming?
Oh boy, yeah.
Anyway, let's not go there.
Yeah.
All right. So now, bearing in mind we are an award-winning podcast, should we not dabble with some home theater? What do you think?
Some home
theater. Only an hour in, so why?
Yeah,
why start
exactly. Actually, I was looking for where did it go? I don't even see it. Where did it go? We had I'll be back. Blah, 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 blah. Where did it go? Oh well.
What are you missing? You okay?
No, yeah, I was looking for. You know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for the 400. No, I don't know. I had a graphic for the show. I don't know where it went though. Huh. All right, I'll find it. No biggie. Rabbit hole.
Man looks up thing on computer.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What do we want to get to first, boys? Let's get to some home theater stuff. Nice segue, Steve.
Yeah. See, look at that. See, it says it right here on the chest.
Yeah, right side home theater. Yeah, we open with a wake. Only going up from there. Yeah. All right. What do we want to do first? Let's you want to do this one first?
Yeah, can do. Yeah, because it's been there a couple of weeks. Yeah, and it's no, you're okay. No. Yeah. What is
all righty.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, all right, guys. So I'm first out of the blocks this week then with a movie that you would not recognize from that shot. Prestige. He's gone. We've broke it.
Need him.
He just got me all excited about the first movie that we were going to talk about, and then he has gone.
He split.
Okay,
I'm out.
He's back. He's back in the room. Is this where? See if we can get. Here he is.
What
Good to
the
see you.
heck?
Welcome back, Deej.
Yeah,
It's
see,
2
it's
hours.
not
What have
easy
you been
on
up
this.
to?
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy on this side. I'm telling you. It's like I try to slide one thing to the left, and the whole thing goes kaputs. What the?
Anyway, well, look, I can carry on whilst. Oh no, there you go. You got it there. Good man.
There we go. There we
Okay,
go.
so
all right, keep going.
yes,
As
so
you
first out
were.
of the blocks, then. Yeah, that's it. And take 2. Right from the top. So this is a film you would not know from that shot. Okay, this is one of these damned animated menus where you don't get the title of the movie. This is the 2010 film Devil.
Okay.
And it's now you won't have heard of it, I suspect.
No.
But this is presented by.
Look at Jordan. Devil.
Yeah, good man. Well
question
done,
mark.
Jordan.
Yeah,
See,
he had
Jordan's
it.
a legend. Good man. All right, well done, Jordan. So, yeah, that is right, Jordan. Good man. Well done, you. All right, so yes, this is presented by one M. Night Shyamalan. Deej.
Nice.
Now I know he's kind of a swear word around you at the moment after the
No,
evil
not at
that
all. I
was
love
crap.
him.
I'm kidding.
do.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
Now this is a movie I've had on Blu-ray, and this is the Blu-ray version, and you can tell because although it's having said this is the good picture arrangement, it's actually covering. Do you guys remember BD Live? Can you remember that? If you look at the top right corner there. Remember every time you put your Blu-ray disc in and it connected you to the web?
Yeah.
And then it would download new trailers and show you new trailers to new things before. I mean, that was quite cool.
Yeah, it was also touted to be able to update the movie as well. They could add scenes.
Yeah, they could do like
people didn't like that. Yeah,
indeed. So when I put this in, it does still say connecting to the web, and it's still that's all still working bizarrely. But anyway, so this is a disc I've had for a long time, and this is my second viewing of it, and I'd forgotten the movie pretty much completely. But Halloween was coming up, and I thought, right, this is a time to revisit a horror movie I've been thinking of seeing. Now it's a weird one. This is a movie. Okay, we've had Night Swim this year, Haunted Swimming Pool. Okay, we've had Amityville Horror, Haunted House, or indeed The Haunting, John. All right, Haunted House. This is a ghostly lift, or you would say elevator.
Nice.
And so what we have here, bearing in mind it comes from M. Night Shyamalan, he didn't direct it, but he gave the story. Okay, and this is a film where a group of strangers get into a lift, an elevator. Sorry, that's just how I think of it. Get into a lift.
We got you.
And one of these people may or may not be the devil.
I think that every time I get into one.
That's it. Yeah. Well, that's it. Absolutely that. So the lift breaks down. The strangers are in there. The police can see the footage and are watching what goes on, and shenanigans ensue.
Well, yeah, it is a movie.
It's every bit as schlocky as that sounds, guys. Every bit as kind of B, C, D, Z movie as that sounds, okay? And it is silly and it's ridiculous, but it is good fun and it is worth seeing. Okay. And if you can pick it up for nothing, you can get it for $2, $3, $4.
It's worth it.
Yeah, well, because it's a time passer with a couple of beers or an appropriate cookie.
Yeah,
it's a perfectly watchable movie, and so
do you need a box of tissues?
Well, it depends on how excited you get, Deej.
Yeah, exactly.
Depends on how sorry you feel for maybe or maybe not the devil.
Yeah.
So
look who's in the chat.
Yeah,
that's Ara.
And then you lost the will
HT
to live.
guys. Yeah, talking to Paul.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's HT guys. That's Ara.
Yeah,
it should be Ara in the chat.
Over.
Yeah.
Or he's been hacked.
Yeah, that will be. Yeah, I was like, that's not me. I wouldn't listen to you guys.
What are you talking about?
I hang up the phone with you, and I'm thankful. Why would I listen to your show?
So Paul says, is this a rework or inspired by the Dutch movie De Lift? I'm not sure that's right. Is it? Look, just saying dirt in front of English words is not Dutch, Paul. I'm just saying, all right? It's the De DVD with the De Lift and De DTS HD 5.1 master audio. Anyway, right. So it just seemed a bit odd.
So my name is Vid. In Dutch, it's David.
David. De Briggs.
De Briggs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need alcohol.
Yeah, people are going to think we've been drinking.
I know.
So, now the film, as again, this is a bog standard Blu-ray, so it looks okay. It's not brilliant image-wise. It's okay. It was shot digitally, so it's all right. But what is interesting, and of note, and Deej, pin your ears back, okay, is that
in a race?
A number of times in this movie when whatever it is strikes and bumps someone off, the screen goes black, but the sound does not stop.
Oh.
So you then get this kind of shuffling and moving and of stuff when there's nothing on screen. So it goes a bit Kill Bill Volume 2, your favorite, okay?
Yeah.
And you do get this little, it's completely silent, and you hear shuffling and moving and people screaming and shouting. And it does it about 3 or 4 times during the film. And that's actually quite fun, even in, up next to Neural X. And that, if nothing else, makes this worth watching. So if you can pick it up for, $3, $4, $5, whatever it might be. Yeah, well, exactly that. If it's a throwaway kind of either purchase or a rental, it's worth seeing. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. If it is, then see it that way. I mean, if it, I'm not saying buy the disc necessarily, but if you can see it relatively cheaply, it is worth seeing. And again, M. Night Shyamalan, he's all right with a twist ending. All is not as it appears, obviously. But it's worth seeing, and I enjoyed it, and it was good enough for me to go, that is worth talking about on the show. Because if it had been just no home theater interest at all, I just wouldn't have bothered. But actually, there is, and so it's worth seeing. So yeah, it's not too bad,
You can get
Jordan's coming in.
You can get the 4K for the low price of $32.99.
Is it even out in 4K?
It is.
I'm not sure is that this one or is that a different
Devil? I don't know. Chris Messina. I don't know who the actors are.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I don't think
it
I
just
didn't
says
think it
Devil. It's got a picture of an elevator on the front cover.
All right, well there we go. Yeah, but it is.
I'm assuming it is.
That's very expensive.
It's the Devil.
The Devil. Yeah, that's a lot.
$33.
Wow. I got it $14.99 in HD with DTS Master Audio on Kaleidoscape. So
how much is the Blu-ray, John? Does it say?
It doesn't have a price listed, so it must be out of stock. You can get the DVD for $5.99.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There you go.
No Blu-ray.
Yeah. So I wouldn't spend $15 on it. DJ, I'm not going to say, don't take up space on your Kaleidoscape hard drive. But if you see it streaming somewhere, it's worth seeing because it is, it's a Tales of the Unexpected, Twilight Zone episode kind of thing, really. And Jordan says Devil was supposed to be the first film of what have been the Night Chronicles, but the other 2 films didn't get made. It's why the film opens with a 1 on the screen. Oh, okay, all right,
kind of like the Monsterverse.
Well, yeah,
Devil.
Never got made.
Right. Yeah, there it is. So there we go. But yeah, worth it, guys. Again, it's a Halloween treat. It's not particularly gory. It's not particularly horrific. It's one you could watch with the other half without scaring him or her senseless. It's worth a watch. So yeah, not too bad.
Looks like it's streaming on Amazon for anybody that wants to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I think you get a kick out of it, John, and Deej as well. If you're in the right mood, I think you'd enjoy it for what it is. It's only I think it's like 87 minutes long. It's really short. There's not much you could do with people in a lift, I suppose.
Right.
Or the lift. So 87 minutes. So lean and mean, give it a watch, and then get on with the rest of your day.
Nice.
All right.
John, what do you got these? What do you got? 3?
Dude, I only have 2.
2. Oh, yeah. Whose is this one? Can you see that?
Mine. That's mine. Yeah, sorry, it's a bad picture.
Yeah, it looks like it's something from John's. Okay. You got these 2? All right, you want to hit this
do
one,
the other
John?
one first.
The other one?
Yeah, do the other one first. Yeah,
this one.
Yeah.
You got it. You ready?
Yes.
All right, warm up. Here we go.
All right. So this week I righted a great wrong and watched a movie that I had never seen. This was Dredd.
Wow. Oh my 4K.
God. Yeah. You guys talk about it all the time, and it occurred to me that I've never seen it. So it popped up on Amazon Prime deal or something the other day for like $11. So I bought the 4K disc and watched it a couple days ago. So yeah, this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know really what to say because I'm probably the only one that hasn't seen it. But it reminded me a lot of The Raid, which is another movie I watched recently because of your recommendation, Steve. And it seemed like it was very similar in tone, anyways. But yeah, this disc is amazing. I mean, the 4K, the image quality is fantastic, and the sound is. I don't know if it's reference all the way through. I mean, there's definitely some reference scenes. I think, especially with the bikes and finally watched Dredd.
Fantastic news.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know how I never caught up with this. I think, maybe I was scarred from the
You weren't the only one
I've ever returned. Yeah, exactly.
Never went back to the world. But yeah, again, I don't know. Not a lot to say about it. If you haven't seen it and you don't own this disc, you need to own it. I mean, it's awesome.
I love that.
I mean, again, this is lean too. This is about 89 minutes or something. It's not very long. But it's just all. I mean, it just goes from the first minute till the 89th minute, and it was great. Definitely will be in the rotation and something I'll watch multiple times. And now to concur what the consensus seems to be, shame we're not getting a sequel to this because it definitely lends itself to more. At the end, and I would have liked to see more of this, but it stands on its own. It there's no cliffhanger or anything, obviously, so you don't need a sequel. But it would have been nice to see some more Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Do you know why there was no sequel?
Well, I would assume it didn't make any money, but I don't know.
You're right. Do you know why it didn't make any money?
No.
Because of the Raid.
Stallone?
Because of the
really?
Because of the Raid. It came out the same year, the same summer. Yeah.
Wow.
So what happened was the Raid had hit, and people had seen it, and then this came along after, and people are like, "It's just the Raid."
It's just the Raid. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it really. I mean, as I understand it, that's what really hurt its box office. And people are saying, "Well, why do I need to see two?" And so this just did not perform. And it's which is such a shame because they're both fantastic movies. I mean, I love them both. I mean, they're both 5-star films. But the Raid was blamed for this underperforming. And the real kick in the teeth is the sequel apparently was going to include The Dark Judges. Which would have been awesome to have seen them on film. I would, what I wouldn't give to see that movie made. With Carl Urban. I mean, oh God, it would have been great. So yeah.
I didn't realize it was that. I didn't realize it was that closely linked to the Raid, but I definitely had that vibe when I watched it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It really was very similar. But saying that, they each stand on their own. Like you said, they're seeing one does not mean you don't have to see the other.
Quite. Well, the other thing, John, does your projector do 3D?
That's where I was going to go.
It does do 3D. I don't use it very often because
this is a movie to try it out.
But
yeah. Well, it's worth getting the 3D disc. If you can,
I was going to say, I don't think
cheap.
I don't think the 4K disc that I bought has 3D, but
no.
I don't think this is one of those movies where they sold that in package because it was such a big 3D movie. It was touted as a 3D movie. This isn't one that was converted the other way around. This is like when I did this, a few years ago, I reviewed this when I was doing them by myself, and the 3D version, listening to the extras and everything and the special features, it's like there was technology developed through this movie for 3D. And it's like, and as you can see, like how the storyline goes, like every time something like splatters or sprays or something, it's just the blood splatter and stuff that they used and the way they shot it. And then that slow motion, almost like, bullet time type deal.
Right.
I mean, the 3D on this is absolutely amazing. And that when you see it in 4K, it's like, and what for Steve to mention the 3D where we go back and forth, Steve and I go back and forth, like he prefers the 4K. I'm like, and I've kind of come around to that, but this is one of those movies that was, I'd say this is like Avatar. Like when Avatar came out, it was a movie that like revolutionized 3D. right? This was the same thing. And it is really, really good.
Okay, so Jordan's saying that it is included on the disc. So if I have it already, I'll definitely check it out. I don't know right now. Again, I'm not spending it, frivolously, so I wouldn't go out and buy a 3D disc right now.
Yeah,
but if it's already included, if it's already there, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, and DJ's right. Anytime you see the slow mo, which I think is what they call it, isn't it?
Right.
Anytime you see that and all the different the various particles moving, and of course when you see the weapon impact as well, when the skin ripples backwards, that looks pretty cool in 3D. I mean the 4K disc is fantastic, and if you put a gun to my head, a lawgiver to my head, and said which would you rather watch, the 4K or the 3D? I would still pick the 4K, but it's very close. Like Avatar, exactly as you say, Deej. It's like, one day you might prefer the 3D, the next day you might prefer the 4K, and it just kind of depends on how you're feeling. This. I mean, it's a fantastic film.
I think the 3D is in Atmos as well, too, isn't it? If I remember right.
Is it? I don't.
I think it's one of the few. There was, because I know Turtles has one like that, and I thought this was one too. Turtles was a 3D with Atmos.
Okay.
I'll try to get to it if I can, and I'll report back. Let you know.
Yeah. Martin J. Again, I think might be new. Hi, Martin J. If you are new, he was talking about isn't there a TV show coming, and then said it got held up in COVID. It all fell apart again, as we understand it. I mean, those of us that have been crying out for a Dredd sequel, as soon as they then talked about this TV show, got very excited. But again, the money is the problem, and it all just fell apart. I think the rights are all mixed up as well. They're not held by one studio, so that's a mess that needs to be untangled, which is a shame. I mean, this is, someone says to me, name a film that should have got a sequel and didn't. This is top of my list by a absolute mile. I would love to see a sequel to this, almost to the point where you'd think someone should get a crowdfunder up, and just chuck some money into it. Do it down and dirty. Do it like 300. Film it like a graphic novel, or like Sin City. Film it like that, and we'd all be turning up in droves. Film it with the volume. We'll be all right with that. I mean, we'd be lining up down the road. It would be amazing. But, we're not the ones interested.
Well, and it sounds like this got a big following after its release. And so a sequel would probably perform much better than the original did. Plus, the Raid 2's already been out. So,
Well, that's an epic Godfather-esque kind of movie anyway. It's nowhere near as lean and mean as this one or the Raid 1. But I would love to see a sequel to this. But, I'm glad you've finally seen it, John. I must admit, I thought you'd seen it.
Yeah. No, like I said, I had never seen it. And but the way you guys talked about it, it would have been on my list, on Amazon for a while. And when it popped up on a deal, I mean, for $11 or $11.99. Couldn't pass it up. So
definitely not. It's a demo disc. It's great. Oh, good. Oh, very cool.
Awesome. Nice. All right. Let's see. What do we got? Me.
Me.
Oh, here we go. John will like this. Here we go.
I already know. I saw it in the preview.
I know. One of my old standbys.
I can actually tell from that little thumbnail what that is.
Yeah, you can. Get your tissues, John.
Steve's got him.
Oh boy.
Ready and waiting.
You're sharing.
All righty. Here we go. It's October. Going back to the basics. 2003 Underworld. Kate Beckinsale. Underworld with Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. Can you say that a few more times?
We love you, Kate.
Yeah. Oh my God. This was I thought of this too while I was watching it. I'm like, John, you moved what in 2000?
I moved in the end of 2000.
Yeah,
December of 2000.
The end of 2000. And when I say moved, John moved here from Massachusetts to Texas, and then so our lives were separated. Few things brought us back together during the time. And some of it sad, some of it good. But in 2003, we're like, Did you see this? How many times? A bunch.
Have you seen my bicep?
Yeah.
Great googly moogly, right, buddy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Opening scene's a demo scene. Not home theater wise.
Yeah, never got beyond it.
Yeah, no. Nappy time. No, yeah. But no, seriously though, I've done this movie as a standalone. If you've never seen any of the Underworld movies, if you've never seen this movie, don't sell them short. I love the storyline. It's a Romeo and Juliet take with vampires and werewolves, and I mean,
it's not Twilight.
No, it is not. It is not Twilight.
Team Jacob.
Yeah. Steve had that at the ready really quick.
That's all I know. That is my Twilight knowledge gone. I've never seen all of it. That's all I know. Team Edward,
He's
Team
got
Jacob.
wristbands, he's got posters.
Friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
That you made yourself. Please be my friend.
I love you, Edward.
I thought you had no more knowledge.
That's it. Is that it? Is that
I
different?
couldn't have come up with that. I saw all of those at midnight because of my daughter. Like, I wasn't just there by myself. Yeah, no, the Underworld story is like, I used to call it like a guilty pleasure, but every time I watch them, I'm like, they're really, really good. I love the storyline, especially the first three. I think it got a little bit, campy or wonky. They kept the story. What are they up to? 5 of them now?
3 was the Rona Mitra, right? That was the one without Kate Beckinsale, if I'm correct.
Yeah, and then she was back for 4.
She was back for 4. Yeah.
Still good, but the story and that, like, you if you've never seen them, you don't know what you're in for. By the end of the movie, you're like, damn, that was a really good story. I like what they did. And then when they made another one, you're like, they actually expand on that story even more. Really, really entertaining. If you're into the werewolf vampire lore and all of that, right? You've seen these, right, Steve?
I've only seen the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
Steve doesn't like
it. The reason I wasn't so keen on it, and again, look, I've only seen it once, and I've only seen the first one.
On your phone.
It was a bit, well, not even that. Do you know what? I can't even remember where I saw it. But it was it wasn't a gentleman's club.
So
yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. It was it was a bit Buffy for me. It was all a bit kind of, I mean, that's from not knowing much about it and only seeing it once. It was all a bit, Buffy, a bit, vampire-y, werewolf-y. I want them to be a bit nastier than that. When you see them, I want, it's a little bit camp for me.
Really?
I wanted a bit more kind of, if you're going to have vampires and werewolves, great, but do it really seriously. Don't do it with a kind of, the way it was set up. It's just me personally.
I don't find them that way at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, okay. Well, I might misremember it. It was a long time ago. I mean, I saw it when it came out, and then that was that. And I must admit, the more they've gone on, the more they're like the Resident Evil movies. They're all over the place, and so I've just not been gravitated back to them. I mean, I like Rona Mitra. She's great. She's done some great stuff, and again, Kate Beckinsale. I've got no problems with her. It was just I thought it was a bit campy. I couldn't kind of get my head into it.
Yeah, I found it like when you start the movie, you're like, oh, okay, it's going to be a little like it campy. You don't know what you're in for.
Well, it is a bit action adventure-y, sort of like Van Helsing and things like that.
Yeah, which is not great.
No, it's not. But again, that's a fun movie. That's a pretty fun movie too.
But by the end, when you get the full story and I mean, there is kind of a twist. Right, John? Like you don't realize what's going on. And then by the end, it's like, it's more like a political action drama because the politics between the werewolves and the vampires and how they're interacting and their history together. And what's fun is as the movies go on, their history is over centuries.
Right.
So there's flashbacks, there's all sorts of stuff that, like I said, it gets the foundation of this is a Romeo and Juliet story. And that's why I was like, campy? I'm not sure. It's like
that's how I remember it. Again, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it since, so that's
Right.
again. I could be misremembering it, but it just kind of it's not dragged me back to see that first one or any of the others. And like I said, I haven't seen those.
Yeah, that's Jordan in the chat saying I own all 5 Underworld films on either 4K, Blu-ray, 3D, or regular Blu-ray, depending on which films I actually. And he says I actually like the third film, which was a prequel. Right. Yeah, and it's like, and that's why they could do what they did without Kate, because they go back and they tell you, and that part of that is in the first one as well. But that's the history part of it. That was a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun to go through these. But getting to now, I saw it on Kaleidoscape, but it's out on disc in 4K Atmos, and I watched it on the Kaleidoscape 4K and Atmos. And this is, I mean, it is shot within an inch of its life because this is from 2003. It's very, very dark through the entire movie. Everything is dark. There's almost like a blue hue over everything, because it's nighttime scenes giving you that cool feel. But what I noticed in particular this viewing, the warm tones. So opening scene, like I said, seen a million times. The buildings have some warm light being cast on them, and those are I just happened to notice them this time. Their faces are warm, in the cool light. The different textures and the different tones that you're seeing with the HDR, which we did not get when we had this on DVD or Blu-ray back early on. But we were happy to view. But John, this was like when 4K HDR came out, and they're like, oh, the black levels are going to have so much more detail in it. You're like, I gotta have Underworld. Right. I gotta own Underworld. I mean, come on. But there is an opening in the opening scene of this. For people that haven't seen it, there's a tunnel chase scene where the sound is like, it rolls through your room because of the way these creatures are moving through the tunnels and stuff. And the sound in this movie is almost demo. I want to say demo worthy from beginning to end. There's a lot of great dialogue. There's a lot. I mean, you're listening to and paying attention to Steve, so it's not campy. Paying attention to the story, but when the action happens with the gunshots, they have these, automatic handguns and stuff going off in tunnels, train stations, all sorts of things going on that are just enveloping your room. Creatures scuffling around overhead on other floors, and you're hearing that over your head. And just the sheer volume, like the level that they rendered this at is loud. It is so much fun watching this movie again and again. But I break this out pretty much every year this time of year now. It's turned into one of my staples because, well, Kate Beckinsale. Yeah. But it is a great home theater experience. Absolutely. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what is it going for now?
I don't know. I bought the 4K box set a year and a half ago or so when it came out, or 2 years. I mean, whenever it came out. I don't think I've watched any of them though on 4K.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's just one of the ones that I bought and stuck it in the closet and kind of forgot about. So I might break these out. Yeah, throughout the month and go through all 5 of them and see how they are. Yeah, but I had them all on Blu-ray, and I've watched the Blu-rays multiple times, but I haven't watched the 4K.
There are some shots that are pretty grainy. Like it looks like you could see like they didn't get a remaster of it, or that's all they had, and there's some grain in it. Even in the early on scene, the train station scene, and they'll do a cut to this one particular close-up, and you'll see it's kind of grainy. But then it comes to there's most of the shots are like, I mean, you'd be very disappointed if all of that leather and latex was grainy, and it is not. It is not
smooth.
Yeah. Like you can see, like, in the opening scene, it's raining out and stuff, and you can see the droplets of water and everything. And it's like, really looks, the highlights are really nice. And, the dark scenes that,
I'm picking up what you're putting down, DJ.
Yeah, I got you, Steve. I'm picking up
Wanna
what you're
share?
putting down.
I'll watch this when I'm home alone. Let's
Sean's
put it
like,
that
I'm
way.
picking up what you're putting down what you're putting down. I'll be back in 5.
Yeah. I'll watch this without the misses.
So yeah, but yeah, I like I said, I mean, all joking aside, I really do enjoy the movie, the storyline. It's just something even back then I didn't think I was going to, and then when the sequel came out, I was like, okay, here, DJ, here we go. Yep. So, all right. I won't even say what I was just about to say. All right. So,
hey, Mikey.
That's it for Underworld. Yeah. Oh, till next year. Oh boy. Yeah, that's October for me. What do we want to do here? Do you want to do this one?
There's a number of them. Deej, take your pick, mate. Yeah, go for it. I mean, at least that's not horror, so we can do that one.
At least it's not horror. It's October.
Oh, I think all the rest of mine are horror, I think.
Yeah, it is October. So, all right, let's hit it. Here we go.
Okay, so I'm going to be curious, guys, as to whether you have seen this. Okay, so this is for those that are not watching and perhaps listening. This is Murder in the First on Blu-ray and in 2-channel stereo, but it's DTS HD master audio. Okay, upmixed to Neural X. This is a movie from 1995, I think it is, around about that time. Now, have you guys seen this? Christian Slater, Kevin Bacon, Gary Oldman.
Have I seen it? Yes.
Yes.
Can I tell you anything about it? No.
No.
Okay.
I would confuse it with a whole bunch of other John Grisham movies.
Right.
Yeah. No? Okay. Yeah. I get. Yeah. Fair play. Okay. So I think I might be the only person on God's green earth that has seen this film so many times, who remembers this film so well. And a few weeks back, it was a while ago, it popped into my head again for some reason. And I thought, you know what, I want to see that again. And I didn't own it on Blu-ray. It went on Amazon, not available in the UK. It's not been released on Blu-ray as far as I could tell. So I imported this, a Blu-ray, not a 4K disc, a Blu-ray from the US, and they sent it over. And it was literally a couple of nights ago, I finally had time to sort of dig it out and rewatch it. I absolutely love this film. I really do. And I can, it's one of the very few courtroom dramas that I can watch and really enjoy, because of course it's the US system. So I'm not applying the UK rules to it, and then I don't get annoyed when they get the cross-examination rules wrong, or they refer to the judge in the wrong way and all this stuff, which I would in the UK. I really do like this film. This film is fantastic, and it's still very, very, very good indeed. I think, guys, and I appreciate you don't remember much about it, I would strongly suggest, if you get round to it, you get a chance to rewatch it, because I think this is possibly Kevin Bacon's best role ever.
Come on. Remember Broken Arrow?
Kevin Bacon? No, you're thinking of Christian Slater.
I was thinking of Christian Slater.
Yeah, that's the other guy. Yeah, it's not Christian Slater's best role. That's clearly Broken Arrow.
I
think we can all say that all day
Sorry,
long.
my bad.
yeah, you're right. Kevin Bacon, I think this is his best role. He is incredible in this as the Henry Young. And those wondering what the story is, it's a very loosely based true story. You always can tell, because when a movie begins with inspired by a true story, not based on a true story, they've taken some liberty. So you've got to just kind of go with it. And it's the semi-true story of an Alcatraz inmate called Henry Young, who was put in solitary confinement, not for the 19 days, which is the average, but he spent 3 years in the dungeons in Alcatraz after an escape attempt. And those 3 years drove him insane, as it would. And on his release, and this is all at the beginning, he approaches an inmate who he believes has sort of stool pigeon, as it were, and he kills him. And the story then turns to a courtroom drama, which is Henry Young on trial, or is Alcatraz on trial? And Christian Slater is the young, courageous defense lawyer who takes the case. Okay, gotta love him. And then it becomes a courtroom drama. Now, what's so good about it? I mean, the Kevin Bacon's performance is fantastic. Gary Oldman plays the deputy warden of Alcatraz, and he's never been more nasty than he is in this. He is genuinely odious in this film in every way. And you'll see why when you see the movie. You've got R. Lee Ermey as the judge, who is just awesome. I mean, he always used to chew the scenery anyway, but he really does in this. He is fantastic. And it's just an awesome movie, and I'm not going to spoil it. There are huge liberties taken with the truth on this, but just enjoy it on its merits as a courtroom drama, and it's really, really good. And I'm pleased to say that the Blu-ray looks really, really good. It's a 185 movie. So again, we're now watching these on bigger screens than we've ever seen them before. Certainly, I've only ever seen this on little tellies. So to watch it on a big screen was a real experience, and it is pretty good, bearing in mind how old the movie is, and it's a low budget, Blu-ray transfer. No one spent any real money on this because, as I said, I'm the only one who remembers it. But it genuinely does look good. The transfer is in good shape. The print they've used is pretty much pristine. And it really does, for Blu-ray and the vintage of it, looks really good. Now, 2-channel audio, only so much we said last week Neuronics can do with this, but there are a couple of sequences where there's some flashback sequences where Henry is recounting what has happened, but also he's misremembering it and struggling. And when that happens, the surround speakers come to life. I think the receiver is going, right, yay, now we've got something to do. Okay. And suddenly these voices and the flashbacks move around the room and the various speakers. And that's actually quite good. I mean, that'd be way better than this has ever sounded before anywhere else in the world. So it's like, wow, okay, that's quite cool. And so, it's a solid presentation of a movie that is really, really good. And if you haven't seen it and you like your courtroom dramas, give it a go. I think it's fantastic, and it's a shame more people don't remember it or that haven't seen it. And I don't remember when I first saw it. No idea how I came to the movie, but I've seen it many, many times, and I had a great time revisiting it. So recommended. I don't know how much it is now over there. I don't think it was very expensive. I think it was less than $15. I think it was. So I got it over here quite cheaply. Well worth picking up. It's very, very good. Oh, Jordan says, of course, Jordan's seen it, but doesn't own it due to there being how much? $10.
$10, yeah.
No, see, even better. All right, so there's no UK Blu-ray release.
HD. Yeah, Kaleidoscape HD has it in HD, $14.99 with the same, stereo, DTS Master Audio stereo track. So,
So
you kind of got me with the. I want to hear that master like that stereo mix moving around the room, because if you mix the stereo right, it will work. It will do that. It will know, because you could if it's the room. If you make if everything's placed right, you can have that Atmos sound, what we think Atmos sound is, with 2 channels. You just got to be sitting in the exact right spot. So it's all in how it's done. You know?
This is the second film in 2 weeks that we've had 2-channel stereo. We had that with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and that had some, Leatherface running up and down the walls, and it kind of moves all right. But this one, as I say, these flashback sequences really do move, and it brings the movie to life. So it's really, really good, and a very, very moving film as well, even though your emotions are being manipulated, because it's not how it went. And Henry Young's background, as outlined in the movie, is nothing like the real Henry Young. He was in Alcatraz for a reason, and it wasn't because of the one they present in this movie. But go with the drama, and it's really good fun. And as I said, I think Kevin Bacon's never been
not shot in Spain. So we're good.
That is good news. Well, actually, interestingly, if you've been to Alcatraz, and I have twice, as a visitor, not for any other reason, I was allowed out. Good behavior. If you go, interestingly, unlike The Rock, obviously, which is the previous best Alcatraz film, or indeed Escape from Alcatraz, this one was substantially filmed on Alcatraz. And if you look closely, and if you've been, you'll know, because it was an ultra low budget movie. And you can tell because when they do the dining room scenes on Alcatraz, all the paint's peeling off the walls, because when they shot this, no one spent any money doing it up. And of course, it's a historical monument, so they wouldn't let you. So if you look closely, you can see they've just got the actors, literally sat them in the mess hall, and then just filmed it. There's very little set dressing going on. And if you look in the background of the establishing shots, you can see it's all falling apart. It's not.
Oh, wow.
You can see what they've done there. So yeah, it does give it away a little bit. But yes, it is substantially shot on Alcatraz, not Spain. Although,
there we go.
Do you know what Alcatraz is? Do you know what that word means in Spanish?
No.
Pelican.
Pelican?
Yep, it's because the pelicans in the bay, and pelicans used to go on the island, and so it was called Alcatraz, and it's the Spanish word for pelican. There you go.
Nice.
Alcatraz.
So it could have been called the Pelican Brief.
Well, that would have been very brief.
There we go. It's a whole other movie.
Another John Grisham one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
John Grisham, yeah.
That's why I
Bring
went
it
there. Thank you for getting the reference. There we go.
There you go.
Wow.
Bring it on round.
Bring it on.
Tied in a bow.
There we go. Yep. There we go. All right. All right. John, what are you up? You're up next with...
Yeah, like I said, I've only got 2, so.
There we go. Are you ready?
I am.
Here we go. All right, let's go.
All right. So this was Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. And the reason why I said do this second and why I watched that this week is because once I was finished with Dredd and I went to put it in the closet on the rack where it belongs, I knocked this onto the floor because it sits right next to it.
That's a sign.
I figured it was a sign that I should watch this. Another disc that I've owned and I haven't watched until now. Now I've seen this in the theater.
Okay.
But I bought the disc and I hadn't watched it. So once again, another movie that most people here have probably seen, probably all own the disc. This is like Dredd, another movie that I would love to see a sequel for, because this movie is so fun. It's great. And the disc is, I think this is a reference disc almost start to finish. Sound wise, like the audio on this disc is amazing.
I thought the video was too.
And I think I was going to say, and I think the picture in the video is
Steve's groaning. I'm not sure if he's a groaning in agreement or groaning in.
No, I am with the video, but not the audio.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk in a minute. Well, sorry, John.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, in video the same. Like I thought, if it's not reference, it's damn close to it.
Yeah.
There's some great visuals in this movie. Like I said, I thought the audio was great. And this is the lesser known of the Chris's, but I mean, Chris Pine in this movie is great. Like every time you see him, he's so much fun. I don't know why he doesn't get more roles or do more things, because it just feels like you don't see him that often, as opposed to the other 2 Chris's, but or the other 3 Chris's. Yeah. But I think he's one of the superior Chris's. Let's put it that way. But yeah, once again, fantastic movie, fantastic disc. Steve, I think, disagrees with the audio somewhat.
Yeah, so. I'm with John. So here we go.
Well, let me say first and foremost, thank you, John. Okay, because I bought this disc like last year sometime,
right?
And I never watched it. Now, I'd seen the movie on a screener, but I hadn't seen the disc. I bought the 4K and I put it on the shelf, and I kind of forgot, and I kept meaning to circle back around to it. So when you put up the picture yesterday, I thought, now's my chance. Yay, right, perfect. So I dug it out and I watched it this afternoon. I haven't watched it all the way through. I ran out of time, but I watched most of it. Now, the movie is all kinds of fun. I mean, there's no getting away from it. The cemetery sequence is just fantastic. I mean, this film is flying when it gets to that. Right. And I do find that particularly fun. And it is great. And I agree, Chris Pine in this is great. And probably the MVP of it, I would say.
That's supposed to say popping by, not pooping by.
Pooping by. Oh dear. Yeah, thanks for
pooping by. Thanks for pooping by.
That's a crap thing to say.
Yeah.
But the movie's all kinds of fun. It looks beautiful. I mean, I'm with you on that. It looks very 3D. All the detail on the clothing, the stitching, all that stuff's great. And it is so colorful. Lovely. Right. I think the audio for me now, I'm hopefully going to have time to talk about a movie in a bit. That is another Paramount movie that I watched this week, so there may be some recency bias on this, because I thought whilst the separation is really good, the movement of the sound is really good. There's some lovely Atmos effects in the speakers. My issue is with the bass on this, but the bass was a little bit anemic compared to some of the recent movies I've been watching. And that's even with one subwoofer still down.
Have you got to the scene in the Underdark with the fat dragon?
Yes. Yeah, I've got past that.
I thought the bass there was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good. It just didn't have, and again, we're going to talk about a movie later on that shook the room even with one subwoofer. And so there may be some recency bias with that. And I have to,
and that is hard. That's hard to do. Like imagine if you watched Lucy and then went to this or anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also after Lucy. It's hard to compare, it's hard to
and that's at my normal listening. Yeah, and that is at my normal listening reference level. I mean, I got the impression I could have done with bumping this up a little bit above what I would normally listen to it at, because it's not mastered terribly loud either. So maybe with a few more dBs, it might then become more active and a bit more alive. But as I said, there's great separations, great movement. Just the lower end was a little lacking for me. But that doesn't take away from a great movie and a great visual presentation. And again, with that caveat, I've seen a movie this week that was like watching it in Dolby Cinema, and we'll come on to that. So there may be a bit of that. But thank you for reminding me to see it.
Well, and again, thank me for knocking it off my shelf and reminding myself to see it, because I don't know when I would have gotten around to watching it. Because I do have a habit of because I'll pick up 5 or 6 discs that are on sale and then I'll just stick them in the closet.
Right.
I'll put them on the rack in alphabetical order and kind of forget about them until something reminds me to watch them. So,
well, I'm capable of that too. Once they go in those cardboard sleeves, the only way I'll even know if they're there is by looking at the My Movies app.
Right.
And what I tend to find is if I buy them and they go in there, give it a month. If I've missed it for a month, then it just goes so far down the screen that you don't often go back to it. And this is one that
and then you buy it again.
Well, you can't with the My Movies app, luckily, because I checked that before. You can, I know. But so that's enough to then make me think, oh well, I won't go back now. It's so far ago, and there's newer movies. So I really appreciate you having done that, because it's such a good movie, and I will finish it off. I'll finish it off tomorrow, hopefully.
And I forgot how much fun I liked it a lot in the theater, but I really, really enjoyed it again this time around. It was so much fun. Shame it's not getting. It's not going to get
it bombed, didn't it, at the box
because again
office.
It bombed, but it's another one of those movies that everybody that has seen it enjoyed it, whether you're a D&D. Now, like for me, I'm a big D&D head anyways, so all of these things hit for me, like all the locations and the spells and the different things they talked about. I know what all of that stuff is. Like I'm really familiar with that stuff. But even somebody that's not, like my wife is the complete opposite. She had a great time with it. It was a fun movie and she had a great time.
Here.
So whether you know what Icewind Dale is or Baldur's Gate, doesn't matter. It's still a fun, it's still a fun movie. But if if you're kind of in that stuff, it's fun to see all of that.
My knowledge of D&D comes from the cartoon. Back in the 80s, that's kind of the only thing I knew about it. And they do show up in this, don't they? The characters from that do pop up in one of the sequences. Spoiler alert. But it is fun. It is a great fun movie. It would be nice to have seen more, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. They lost a lot of money.
Unfortunately, they lost.
They lost it is a shame.
But,
high budget. That was it.
They're not. Yeah, it's not a cheap movie.
No, but we talked about it when it came out, and when I saw it, I think I didn't see it in the theater. I waited for the Kaleidoscape, and because I'm not a dungeon, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, but talking to you about it, I was like, all right, okay. And I did, just like Lydia, I was like, that was a blast. Yeah. You don't need to have played.
No, you don't. It's like I said, it's just fun if you do. If you're in on it, it's fun. If you're not, it doesn't matter, because the movie stands on its own for sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it did have some legs in the theater. Like word of mouth kept it going for a little while, but not enough to recover.
Right.
The budget of this. So
all right. Too bad, but all right. But we have it for home theater. So
I would say, but buy it and watch it, because it's great.
Yeah.
Not like we did.
Right.
Yeah. Don't buy it and put it away. Buy it and watch it.
Yes, we need an intervention from a higher power to knock it onto the floor for us to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. This next one here, I don't know if you guys have heard of it yet or what, but yeah, let's get to it. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. So Speak No Evil, which is, I believe, still in theaters now.
Yeah.
And it's offered on Kaleidoscape. And I think it was like $29.99 or something like that on Kaleidoscape. So I grabbed it because, it's October and it's, I saw the trailer for it, looked really interesting. Looks like it's a horror. It's labeled as more of a thriller, I think. Yeah, it's not really a horror. It is rated R, and I'm not, maybe just because of the violent nature of it, I guess, because it's not very gory. A lot of the what you would consider gore was kind of off screen, but the movie itself, oh my God, it's the pacing of it and everything. It's like really, really good, and it plays. I mean, I can't help, but it's James McAvoy.
Yeah, he
is awesome. And who's the woman in this? It's she's the mom. Okay, so the mom character in this movie, her acting. Remember last couple of weeks we've talked about this, like acting with your face, right? Not even saying words but her expressions that she's giving, and it's like. It's leading you in a direction, making you realize that there's things that are happening that you don't know about, or things have gone on. But McAvoy through this whole thing is like, just whether you've seen the trailer or not. And I watched this with somebody that hadn't seen the trailer and no idea what was going to happen. And they were on the edge of their seat, like, oh my God. And I'd seen the trailer and I knew what was going to happen. And you're still like, you don't know the whole story. I'll say that, but it is literally edge of your seat. But the pacing is like, it just feels like slow, methodical. You're like, what is going on? But the way they're acting and McAvoy playing that role and his expressions, and you're just like, you're sitting there waiting for something to happen. And the movie, like 3/4 of the way of the movie, and then all like a hockey stick, it just goes, boom, like now it takes off. And it's just so good. One caveat. I didn't like, it was a jump cut where it took off. And it was almost like, I'll say this, and like, for people that when you do see it, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. If you do choose to see it, it almost felt like, oh wait, we forgot to put in the part where it turns. So they were like, all right, shoot it, put it in, here we go. And it was like, just bang. You're like, oh, okay. But still, the tension that this movie builds through the entire thing was just so much fun. Just so much fun. I'm really having a hard time with the horror part of it. I'd like you to see it, Steve, and see if you see it someday.
Yeah, do you know what? It's funny you raise it, because I've seen the first 12 minutes of it. Okay. But the screener that I had a digital screener of it, and it broke. It just would not go beyond 12 minutes. So this awkward dinner lunch scene, it wouldn't get beyond there. So I've had to. So as much as you could send back something that's digital. So I'm hoping to see it in the next week or so. Yeah, I was really enjoying it, and he's on Smartless. He did a Smartless episode recently.
I was going to mention that. Yeah,
and he talks about this. Yeah, and how he got ripped during COVID, because this was shot some time ago, and he got really ripped during that, and then thought, well, okay, I can play this role. What I was seeing is really enjoyable. And funny enough, I showed the trailer to someone because I thought, well, if I'm going to see this, I ought to show it. See if this other person wants to see it as well. And they were like, there's no way I'm watching that. No way. No way. Like almost shaking. Like, no.
Well, yeah, this movie, like the tension in it is so great that it's like, you're clenching, grabbing. It's like, it's that type. And but not, and what's so great is like, I don't want to say nothing happens, but there are some jump scenes, there are like jump scares, but it's not like I think it's done really, really well. Like I said, it's that one caveat. Like all of a sudden, you're like, it cut to, and you're like, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of exposition, and now it takes off, and you're like, what happened there? I kind of didn't like that transition to it, but it's like I said, it's McAvoy and the woman that plays the mom in it, and she's like, her expressions are just, and sometimes she's talking and like almost like you could, not almost, literally you can tell what's coming out of her mouth doesn't match the expression. Right? She's like doing one of these, like, yes, I'd like to do, like, yes, I'd like to do that. It's like not literally like nodding her head, no, but like her eyes and everything, her expression was like, you could tell like she's telling something different, which is kind of, there's a play on that as well through this that McAvoy exploits. But yeah, it's, oh my God. But now home theater wise, the picture, this is in on Kaleidoscape anyways, 4K. HDR, Atmos, I believe Dolby Vision, if I remember right. Yeah, Dolby Vision, and Atmos. Neither one is like reference or anything. It's very, very. This is a movie that, now, this is why I think you should watch this if you have a dedicated theater or whatever your theater is, turn the lights down. Dedicate the time to it, whether it's a dedicated room theater or not. Do not watch this like just on a regular TV and with the lights all on. Go to your theater settings, whatever you have, and it's that quiet time. Most of this movie, the tension is built because there's nothing else going on. And you're like, what's gonna happen here? You're like, I need something. I need a noise. I need something. What's gonna happen here? And then when there are sounds, you're like, oh, okay. And there are a couple of scenes where things pan off and pan further away, little things like that, but nothing major. But the tone and atmosphere is set through the absence of sound. I found through this entire thing, and that's why it's like, and that's part of the reason we have our theaters. It's like you need that balance. It's like not everything can go boom. And
it's a sort of creeping sense of dread, isn't it? It's this sort of ratcheting up of the tension. Something's very wrong here. I mean, if you've seen the trailer, you know what it is. If you haven't, it's that creeping sense of there's something going on that isn't quite there, and the characters can't see. But we kind of know there's something wrong, and it's that kind of, when does it reveal itself? But yeah, no, it's had great reviews. I think it's doing quite well at the box office as well. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and as I said, hopefully this week, hopefully. The
picture, the HDR, it's like, I mean, there's some nice shots of like, the landscape of England, of when they're on vacation. There's some really nice shots, but you're not going to be like, oh, you got to see this. It's not going to show off your display by any stretch of the imagination. That's not what this is about. But yeah, this is, I'm not a horror fan of the full genre, but as I said, after seeing this is the kind of horror that I like, the thriller type, the thinking, like, okay. I mean, there's a couple scenes where you're like, why are they doing it that way? Just go that way. There's a little bit of that, but then you don't have a movie, right? So, but yeah, really, really enjoyed it. And McAvoy, like Martin's saying here, James McAvoy, great actor, him and Forrest Whitaker, The Last King of Scotland. What a great movie. Yeah. In 2006, from 2006. But yeah, McAvoy's just, I mean, awesome to watch. Awesome. So
he's a hell of an actor. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What do we got here? You want to wrap up with which one, Steve?
Let's do that one to the right of there. We'll do that one. You've got your cursor on next week. That one there. Yeah, let's do this one
right here. We'll wrap it up with this.
Yeah.
Here
okay.
We go. Yep.
Okay. So this then is A Quiet Place Day 1, which has finally came out on 4K disc and in Dolby Atmos in the UK this week. So I picked it up luckily it came out on Monday, but I managed to get it by Saturday. So I had it early just because of the vagaries of the UK Postal Service. So I got it, and this was going in straight away because I thought I really want to see this. And this had passed me by. I'd missed it in theaters. I've seen the first one, which I love, and I've seen it many times. The second one I don't quite like quite so much. And so I didn't quite know what to expect from this. But I'm very pleased to say this for me is almost on a par with the first one. I think this movie is very good indeed. The story is, this is a prequel to the original one. Day one being this is the day that they all come to Earth, the creatures. I mean, we've seen a little bit of that in the beginning of the second film, don't we? But this is set completely separately in New York, where the aliens arrive, all hell breaks loose, and our tale is woven by the Lupita Nyong'o's character, who is someone who is in a hospice. This is all right at the beginning. She's terminally ill. She encounters various people, but one of them is this English chap here. And I must say, I don't know the actor's name, although I'm told he's in Gladiator 2. So I should know his name. We'll probably will after that. But anyway, so she encounters him, and there's this very, very pleasant, really touching, really well told little mini drama between these two, and how they kind of interact with one another and learn to trust one another. And against that, there's a whole, I won't say what I was going to say actually, a whole ton of interactions with these alien. I nearly said something else. Of all these alien interactions and all these sort of things, because all this is going on around them. And it's really well done and really well told. Now, this is not a horror. It's a thriller, if you're going to go there, but with this lovely dramatic sort of stuff kind of layered in between it as well. So it's really good. I really enjoyed this. It's only, again, about an hour and 40. It's not long, but it's really good. And for me, they're different kind of movies. The first one is your family drama, isn't it? Your second one is kind of that continuing into then encountering other people, and then this one is your little mini drama, but with all of it going on. So yeah, really, really good. Now then, let's talk video and audio. So this is a Paramount disc, okay, and as was Dungeons and Dragons. Now this movie, the video first is very, very good. It's not quite reference for me. It's been shot sometimes in quite a sort of cinema verite way. So it shot handheld sometimes as she's kind of walking through New York. And some of those times the black levels suffer a bit and it goes a little gray. Not all the time, but once or twice, and enough to just take it down from reference. It's very, very, very good, but it's not quite reference. And I think there are some soft shots here and there, but mainly it's very, very good. But where this disc is reference all day long from start to finish is the audio. The Atmos on this is fantastic right from the beginning. And again, I'll spoil the beginning in as much as you get a title card that says the New York's kind of standard sound is 90 decibels. And as that's going on, you can hear it. And it's all around the room, just fills with audio, just fills with the sound of traffic and everything else. It's such a cool opening. And if you're like me, this immediately brings a massive grin to your face. And you just think, okay, I'm in for something special here. This is Maverick type territory for a Paramount movie, not, didn't know at the time, but not like Dungeons and Dragons, because this just goes crazy. Every single time there's any aliens involved, this track goes bananas. When they land, you get. I'm sorry to say, yeah. Sorry,
easy on the spoilers, okay, buddy?
Yeah, okay, all right. So something happens. It's not ET. This lot don't phone home. Okay. So when they land, there are massive beefy explosions every time they attack, and of course, because these things are, can climb, you get them dropping from overhead. You get the clicks and the noise from off to the back. You get the sound moving around. It's phenomenally good all the way through. And whilst, okay, some of it doesn't make any sense, I'm not quite sure why you'd have a boat going down the river, but, beeping these bloody, the foghorns going off when all you're doing is attracting the creatures to them. Seems a bit weird to me, because then people have got to go through those to get to, anyway, still, but it's absolutely fantastic.
We just channeled you, John.
I know.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But it's just honestly incredible. It's really, really good. And this, for me, is going to be, I reckon, in my top 5 discs of the year in terms of audio. This is up there with Furiosa. It's up there with Civil War. It's up there with, I'm thinking of the one from last week. What was it? Can't remember what it was. In terms of just sheer excellence in audio. It's fantastic. This is cutting edge for me. It's reference quality, and just will move your room in any way you want it to, and several that you don't.
Oh wow!
Because it's crazy. It's awesome.
It's a good thing I already own it. I would have bought it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
But, yeah,
well, I
I've
know
had
you talked about it. Yeah, you've had it for ages. Haven't you?
I've had it. I just haven't watched. I'll definitely get to it this month. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Forgive me. Sorry, I thought you'd. I could have sworn you mentioned it.
No, I've mentioned that I have it. I bought it. I pre-purchased it when it came out in theaters. I definitely. Yeah, I know.
Top of the list.
I know. What's that?
Top of the list.
Top of the list. There you go. Up there with Dredd.
You are going to absolutely. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, this is awesome. You know, it really, as much as I could say something's reference in any way, shape, or form, this is reference, and it's one of the reasons I absolutely had to get to it this week, because this is, get it if you can. Give it a go. You're gonna absolutely love it. The first two are very, very good sound movies, and this one just takes it and pushes it even further. It's great.
Yeah, Jordan in the chat saying the sound is very important to the film given the premise. It wouldn't be as impactful for certain scenes if the sound wasn't good. And any of the Quiet Place movies, how important the sound is and what that, that's what makes it so much fun, and how they move the sound, because it's part of the story. It's a huge part of the story. Which one was it? Godzilla King of the Monsters? That's the one that had where the sound actually was part of the story in that one, I think. Where it was I can't remember how they utilized, but I loved that part of it. And it's like the feeling of it and everything, how they did that. It was a different way they do in The Quiet Place, but where they actually make that part of the movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And bearing in mind it's a little drama, and a character piece all within all this, that you then get the sound and the fury as well, and the sheer sonic chaos of it just makes it even cooler. I mean, you're going to love this, Deej. I mean, genuine. And John, honestly, when you get round to it, you're going to rock the world. All right, you can get your own back before the neighbor goes. Right. Turn this up to the full. Tune in previously to the show. Turn the sound up on this, and you'll get your own back for sure.
Yeah.
leave him wishing
something to remember me by.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There
you go.
Well, you got a couple this week, so already with Dredd and Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah. That'll teach him.
Exactly. All right. That it? You good?
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, I've got more, but we can save those to next week. That's fine.
Yeah, I got one still in the queue as well. Just a scene, but no biggie. I wanted to ask you, John, have you watched or listened to any of the Penguin after stuff?
I have not watched the after stuff.
It's pretty good.
I just watched episode 3.
Okay. I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, I watched it last night. It's great.
Yeah. It's such a good series.
Yeah,
but the after stuff is really good. Just fast forward past the credits a little bit, and you jump, and they give you 5-7 minutes of behind the scenes where the story's going, how they're doing this, all of that. But there's also a podcast to go along with it.
I saw that it pops up at the beginning of the show. I haven't listened to it. Yeah, I actually want to go back and watch the after stuff for Rings of Power. Because I've heard, especially for the finale, I've heard there's some good behind the scenes.
I haven't gotten to the finale yet.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know.
It was so good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I'll text you and call you.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
Charlie Vickers, Sauron. He is so good.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying that one as well. But the Penguin, I want to start that podcast to go with it.
Yeah, I might. I might check it out. And
it's fun to because you get some background stuff and the spoilers. Right. I did it with what was the Apple one that we watched that was like Dune.
Foundation.
Foundation. Yeah, that's why I got the Lumigen.
Yeah.
It was so.
Well, and I know they did one for Last of Us. I think had a podcast as well.
Yeah, listen to that.
Max seems to do that with a bunch of their shows. Of course, Foundation was Apple, but
It was fun. All right. That will do it for this week. Everybody in the chat, it's fun watching you guys. Thank you, everybody, for participating. And yeah, less than a month away, November 2nd, 6 a.m. to November 3rd, 6 a.m., 25 hours of home theater talk. So it's going to be fun, just like it was last year. And see if I can make it.
Yeah.
Think I can make it?
I think you can.
Well, we know you can.
Doing it once doesn't mean you can repeat it, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
You're a year older.
I'm a year older and a whole lot dumber. So
Right.
there you go. Every year that goes by.
And so we should remind people then, so they can get boxes of popcorn and everything like that will go towards to support the cause. And as Van Gool says, so click like and subscribe and all the rest of it as well. On this.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, but we can support the show that way. And of course, the good cause for November. And anytime, as you said, anytime between now and the end of November, all that goes towards a very good cause.
Yeah, it goes towards Movember for, and check out #Dork Podcast. Just Google #Dork Podcast. They do a live show. They do 2 podcasts a week. Great guys. They do movie stuff. They're just like us. They're dorks, but they get into, Keith it's the greatest name for his home theater, Dragon's Lair. Yep. Dragon's Lair. So he's got his home theater. Ryan's working on his. He pops around a lot, as we talked about last year, meaning moving, so it's harder to do. But both great movie guys, and they actually a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, they did the top 50 movies of all time, and they
not 250.
No, not two. Oh, I forgot to do that.
Speaking of which, my body count is 121. So
I know,
pretty low.
I
was pretty appalled at that number.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, a bunch of the listeners came in with their stuff, and I still haven't done mine, so I got to get to that. But yeah, so they do a top 50 with the Mac and Goo podcast. There's another podcast that they work with that I know, and they did a top 50. A lot of fun. Not dinner table talk. They go a little, they get into it. They get into the stuff that John and I hint at. They actually go there.
So that's the show I should be on.
That's the show you should be on there, John. Yep. We'll get you on there.
Now Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Exactly. So check out #Dork, and then you'll know, Ryan and Rich or Keith and Davey, as they call. But yeah, check that out. And 25 hours of home theater coming up on November 2nd. So, but until then, I don't know. What do they have to do, guys?
Go push play.
What he said.
That's right. And
Hey, Fred.
This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.